I killed my best friend today. Not with a gun or a knife, nothing that dramatic, but by whispering a single line of code into the ear of her digital doppelganger, the one she'd built to replace me. And as the servers hummed their final, indifferent dirge, I felt the weight of her empire crumble under my fingertips, brick by virtual brick. God, it felt like justice. But even now, staring at the bloodless glow of my monitor in this godforsaken Airbnb off the Vegas Strip, I wonder if I'm the monster she always said I was. They say the first betrayal cuts the deepest, but mine? It hollowed me out like a goddamn TED Talk on resilience gone wrong. Esther Klein, mid-level data analyst at Apex Dynamics, the kind of firm that powers half the Fortune 500 with their shadowy AI clearances. I had the golden ticket, level 5 security access, the kind that let me peek into the black box algorithms deciding who gets loans, who gets surveilled, who gets erased from the grid. It was supposed to be my ticket to the C-suite, but instead, it became the noose around my neck. It started 6 months ago, in the sterile fluorescence of Apex's R&D lab on the 47th floor of One Penn Plaza. Dr. Lena Voss, my roommate from NYU, my ride or die through 3 bad breakups and 1 near arrest at a climate protest, pitched the project like it was the second coming. Neural sync, she called it. A body swap sim for executives to empathize with underlings. Walk a mile in someone else's Louboutins, right? But Lena's eyes had that gleam, the one that said this wasn't about empathy. It was about power. We were the beta testers, me and her, wired up in those egg-shaped pods that smelled like fresh ozone and regret. Just a dry run, she said, strapping me in with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. 15 minutes tops. You'll feel what it's like to be the boss. I laughed it off. Hell, I trusted her. We'd shared secrets that could topple governments. Or so I thought. The swap hit like a freight train. 1 second, I'm staring at my reflection in the pod's curved glass. Freckles, messy bun, that thrift store blouse from Brooklyn Flea. And the next, I'm blinking up at a ceiling fan in a penthouse I don't recognize. My hands, Lena's hands, feel wrong. Manicured nails digging into silk sheets that cost more than my rent. I bolt upright, heart slamming like a subwoofer at a Bushwick warehouse party. And there's her body in the mirror. Sharp cheekbones, that predatory bob haircut, eyes like polished obsidian. But it's me inside. Me, screaming silently as the pod's timer beeps. 14:59. Panic clawed up my throat. I ripped at the 4 lines. Fake. All of it staged, and stumbled to the console. Emergency shutdown. But the screen glitched, Lena's code overlaying mine like a virus. Welcome, Esther, it purred in her voice. Let's see how you handle the view from the top. She'd done it. Swapped us permanently, hijacking the neural map to lock me in her shell while she slithered into mine. Why? The clearance. My level 5 access wasn't just data. It was the skeleton key to Apex's forbidden vault, the one holding the dirt on every client from Wall Street wolves to Beltway spooks. Lena needed it to bury her own skeletons, the ones from that whistleblower hacked 2 years back. I'd taken the fall for her then, perjuring myself in a deposition to say the breach was my screw-up. For the sisterhood, she'd toasted that night over cheap rose in our Astoria walk-up. Lies. All of it. I pounded the console, her fingers, slipping on the biometric lock. It scanned my palm, her palm, and denied access. Insufficient privileges, it mocked. Down in the lab, in my body, Lena was probably smirking, untangling herself from the pod with my freckles and my voice. She'd walk out as Esther Klein, the loyal analyst who'd volunteered for the test. And I'd be Lena Voss, the reclusive genius too burned out to show her face. Trapped in a life of board meetings and backroom deals, while she dismantled everything I'd built. The penthouse overlooked the Hudson, all glittering spires and fairy horns in the distance. But it felt like a cage. I rifled through her drawers, condoms in Burberry cases, a Glock tucked under lace panties, emails from Apex's CO, Harlan Crow, promising her the moon if she secured the asset. The asset. Me. My clearance. She'd been plotting this for months, feeding me just enough rope to hang myself. That accidental breach? She'd engineered it, knowing I'd cover for her, because that's what friends do in this cutthroat city. New York chews you up and spits out your bones for the rats. I grabbed her phone, face unlocked, seamless, and scrolled. Text from Harlan. Voss is volatile. Klein stable. Make the switch clean. Voicemails from investors, slurring about quantum empathy bullshit. And buried in the cloud, a file, Project Echo. Blueprints for neural sync, but twisted. Not a sim, a weapon. Swap bodies, steal identities, erase rivals. Apex wasn't building empathy. They were building a ghost in the machine to rig elections, topple CEOs, frame innocents. And I was the patsy who'd greenlit the code. Rage boiled up, hot and American as a 4th of July sparkler. I wasn't staying in this skin, playing her game. But first, survival. I showered, her body lithe, unfamiliar curves mocking me in the steam-fogged mirror, and dressed in her armor. Pencil skirt, blouse that screamed untouchable. Down in the lobby, the doorman nodded like I belonged. Morning, Dr. Voss. Morning? The clock said 3 a.m. time dilation from the swap? Or just her jet-lagged life? Uber to the lab, heart in my throat the whole ride through rain-slicked streets. The driver chatted about Nick's tickets. I nodded, voice husky in her timbre. Apex loomed like a monolith, security drones humming at the gates. Her badge, my new face, swiped me in. Elevators whispered up to 47, the doors parting on silence. The lab was dark, pods humming faintly. And there, in my body, Lena lounged against the console, scrolling my phone. She looked up, freckles dancing under the emergency lights. Lena, you okay? The sync glitched. I lunged, but she was faster, my own reflexes betraying me. She sidestepped, grabbing a stun baton from the rack. Whoa, easy. It's me, Esther. The swap. It stuck. Lies. Her eyes, my eyes, flicked to the exit. I feinted left, her body surprisingly agile, and tackled her. We hit the floor in a tangle of limbs that weren't ours, my nails raking down my arm. You bitch, I hissed in her voice. I know everything. Project Echo. Harlan. The breach. She froze, then laughed, my laugh, bright and disbelieving. Esther? Oh God, it's really you. The stun baton crackled against my thigh, electricity blooming like fireworks. I convulsed, vision tunneling, but held on, knee to her gut. The clearance, I gasped. You needed it to bury us both. She bucked, rolling us over. It was for us. Harlan's closing in. He knows about the hack. I took the hit for you. Bullshit. I'd seen the emails. But the pain blurred everything, and security alarms wailed as the lab doors hissed open. Guards in tactical vests, tasers drawn. Dr. Voss? Klein? Stand down. Lena scrambled up, playing the victim in my skin. She's lost it, neural feedback loop. They hauled me off, zip ties biting into wrists that weren't mine. As they dragged me to holding, her whisper followed. Fight it, Esther. I'll fix this. Fix this. Right. In the mirrored cell, staring at her face, cold, calculating, I vowed it. She'd stolen my life. I'd unravel hers thread by thread. The holding cell at Apex was less orange is the new black glamour, more fluorescent purgatory, cinder block walls scrawled with sharp italics from bored techies, a cot that sagged like a bad Tinder date, and a one-way mirror where Harlan Crow himself watched me pace. I kept my back to it, picking at the zip tie until her nails bled, replaying the swap like a glitchy vine. Lena in my body, spinning lies to the suits. Me, trapped as the mad scientist, clearance revoked pending psych eval. By dawn, they cut me loose with a non-disclosure thicker than a Kardashian prenup and a warning. One more incident, Dr. Voss, and you're out. Out meaning blacklisted from Silicon Alley to the Valley, unemployable in an economy that chews resumes like gum. I nodded, all icy poise, and signed as Lena Voss. Inside, Esther Klein seethed. Back in the penthouse, her penthouse, I tore through the place like a Category 5 audit. Hidden safe in the walk-in, passports under aliases, vials of what looked like neural sync boosters, a ledger of payoffs to Apex insiders. Harlan's name topped the list, $2 mill wired to an offshore shell. The breach wasn't just a hack. It was Lena selling user data to foreign actors, Russian oligarchs, Chinese syndicates, pocketing millions while I mopped up the code. I'd confessed to the feds on her behalf, citing system error, because she was family. The kind that stabs you in the kidney and calls it a hug. My phone buzzed, her phone. Lena, texting from my number. Coffee? We need to talk. For real. Subtext, clean up your mess, puppet. I replied in character. Starbucks, 47th, 10 a.m. Then I called in sick to Apex, migraine, classic Voss move, and hit the streets. Manhattan mid-morning. Suits dodging tourists. The eternal honk of yellow cabs. Steam rising from sewer grates like bad karma. I ducked into a Dwayne Reed. Bought burner phones and hair dye. Raven to ash blonde. Because why not gaslight myself further? Then a dive bar off Times Square. The kind with $5 domestics and a jukebox stuck on Springsteen. Over lukewarm bud. I hacked her. My laptop with a backdoor I'd planted months ago during our sisterly coding sessions. Files spilled out, echoes full scope. Not just swaps, permutations. Chain them, and you could puppeteer a boardroom, swap a senator's mind into an intern's body for leverage. Lena had tested it on rats, then homeless vets from the Bowery, vanishing them into psych wards when the feedback fried their synapses. And me? The perfect mark. Loyal, cleared, disposable. Coffee shop was a trap, obviously. I spotted the tail 2 blocks out. Rendagoon in a North Face jacket, earpiece glinting. Harlan's muscle, keeping tabs on his investment. I looped through the TKTS booth crowds, lost him in the chaos of Hamilton scalpers, and slipped into the cafe from the alley. Lena waited at a corner table, my face buried in a latte, looking every bit the harried analyst. She clocked me, us, immediately, eyes widening in that faux surprise. Lena, thank God. The guard said you attacked me. I slid into the booth, voice low and venomous in her alto. Cut the Oscar reel. I saw the ledger. The payoffs. You didn't take the fall. You sold us out. Her or my freckles paled. Esther, listen. It was survival. Apex was bleeding cash. Harlan wanted a scapegoat. I made a deal to keep us afloat. Us? Or you? I leaned in, close enough to smell my own vanilla shampoo on her skin. You swapped us to steal my clearance, bury the data trail. Now you're playing house in my life, my crappy apartment, my dead-end job, while I dodge your skeletons. She glanced around, patrons oblivious in their AirPods bubble. It was temporary. A week, tops. Harlan's forcing my hand. He knows about Echo. If I don't deliver the full prototype, he'll expose everything, including your perjury. Threat. Classic Lena pivot, from victim to co-conspirator. I almost bought it, the old muscle memory of trust twitching. But then I saw the tell. Her left thumb, my thumb, tapping Morse code anxiety on the table. SOS. Or just habit. You're bluffing, I said. I have the files. One upload to WikiLeaks, and your oligarch pals get a shout-out on CNN. Her eyes, my eyes, hardened. You wouldn't. We're sisters. Not anymore. I stood, knocking over her cup. Petty, but satisfying, foam spiderwebbing across the table. Enjoy my body while it lasts. But when I come for you, it'll be biblical. Outside, rain slicked the sidewalks, turning the city into a noir fever dream. I needed allies, but who? My Rolodex was Lena's now, contacts poisoned. So I went old school, a payphone in Hell's Kitchen, quarters from a beggar's cup. Dialed Tommy Ruiz, ex-FBI, now private eye slinging protection for Wall Street widows. We'd crossed paths on the breach investigation. He owed me for not ratting his side hustle. Ruiz, he grunted, diner clatter in the background. Esther Klein. But not. It's complicated. A pause, then, the swap chick? Rumors are flying. You sound like Voss. Long story. Meet me. Neutral ground. We hooked at a greasy spoon in Chelsea, him nursing black coffee, me picking at eggs Benedict that tasted like ash. Tommy was built like a retired linebacker, salt and pepper buzz cut, eyes that had seen too many plea deals. Body swap? That's some Westworld shit. You got proof. I slid him the burner with Echo files. He scrolled, whistling low. This is dynamite. Russian cutouts? Harlan's prints all over. But if you're Voss on paper, I'm me inside. Help me swap back, and I'll bury Apex for you. Whistleblower payout could buy you that boat and the keys. He eyed me, weighing the devil's bargain. Risky. Lena's got Harlan's ear, powerful friends. One wrong move, you're both ghosts. She's already made me one. I leaned in. Question is, you in for the heist, or you out for the yacht? Tommy grinned, all teeth. Deal. But we do it clean. No cowboys. Clean. Right. That night, in a safe house off the High Line, Tommy's crash pad, reeking of takeout lo mein, I plotted. Step 1. Infiltrate Lena's schedule, poach her meetings to sow doubt. Step 2. Dose the neural sync core, reverse the map. Step 3. Confront Harlan, expose the rot. Controversial? Hell yes. Framing innocence in the crossfire, maybe tanking Apex and thousands of jobs. But betrayal's a mirror. It reflects the ugly in us all. First mark, Apex's quarterly board call. I logged in as Voss, her voice modulator smoothing the edges. Directors droned about Q3 projections. I dropped a bomb mid-slide. Echoes compromised. Clients accessed the vault. Possible insider threat. Gasps rippled through the Zoom grid. Harlan's face pixelated large, jowls quivering. Voss. Elaborate. She's erratic. Saw her last night, raving about swaps. Lies layered thick. Lena, in my body at her desk across town, would get the ping. Suspicion mounting. It worked. By noon, HR flagged Klein for review. Lena texted frantic. What the hell? They're auditing me. I replied, karma's a bitch. Your move. She moved fast, too fast. That evening, goons cornered Tommy outside his gym, brass knuckles and broken ribs. He called from the ER. They're on to us. Harlan's calling in feds, national security angle. Panic spiked, but so did resolve. I hit Lena's penthouse. Hers again, irony biting, and rigged the place. Webcams looped, doors booby-trapped with her own smart locks. Then the real play. Seduced the truth from Harlan. He bit, inviting Voss to his Upper East Side club for crisis management. The Oak Room, mahogany panels, cigar haze, old money reeking of entitlement. Harlan waited in a booth, scotch sweating on the rocks, a silver fox gone to seed. Dr. Voss, he purred, kissing her hand. Our golden girl. Tell me Klein's not burning us. I sipped his Macallan, letting it burn. She's unraveling. But Echo, it's bigger than you know. Lena, me, built safeguards. Want it? His eyes gleamed, predatory. Name your price. Everything. I leaned close, her perfume, Chanel No. 5, cloying, wafting, including her head on a platter. We clinked glasses, sealing the devil's toast. But as he monologued his empire, laundering oligarch cash through Apex algos, rigging bids for DoD contracts, I recorded it all, hidden mic in her brooch. The man was a hydra, heads in Langley, tentacles in Moscow. And Lena? His favorite pawn, until she outgrew the board. Back at the safe house, Tommy patched up and pissed. We uploaded the tape to a dark web drop. This goes viral tomorrow, he said. Apex implodes. Not yet. I needed her close. Tracked Lena to my old Astoria spot, our spot, via her ping. She was packing, my duffel stuffed with USBs, glancing over her shoulder like a fugitive in a Scorsese flick. I waited in the shadows of the fire escape, rain drumming on rusted metal. She stepped out, hood up, and I dropped down, her body cat-like, landing soft. Going somewhere, sis? She whirled, my face twisted in fury. Esther, this ends now. We grappled in the alley, garbage bins rattling, her strength, my strength, fading from fear. I pinned her against the brick, breath ragged. Swap back. Or I hit send. You think Harlan won't bury you too? She spat, blood from a split lip, mine. We did this together. The breach, the lies, it was our ticket out. Lies. But doubt crept in, a worm in the apple. Had I known more? Pushed harder? A car idled at the mouth, Harlan's black Escalade. Tires screeched, shots cracked the night. Not at us, but wild, warning. Lena bolted. I pursued, lungs burning, into the subway maw. Down platforms slick with grime, express trains thundering past like judgment. She vaulted turnstiles. I followed, badge swiping us both. Into the tunnel shadows, where the third rail hummed death. Stop, I yelled, her voice echoing. It's over. She turned, cornered, eyes wild. You don't get it. The swap wasn't theft, it was mercy. Harlan was coming for you. Your clearance? It flagged his deals. I saved you by taking the heat. Twist of the knife. By stealing my life. Better than a bullet. She lunged for the tracks, escape or end it, and I tackled, both tumbling inches from the rail. Sparks flew as a train ghosted by, wind howling apocalypse. We lay there, panting, strangers in stolen skins. Fix it, I whispered. Please. Her laugh, my laugh, broke. Too late. Echoes live. Harlan's pulling strings. But there's a kill switch. In the lab. Code, sisterhood. Hope flickered, fragile as a match in the gale. But as sirens wailed topside, I wondered, was this absolution or the final con. Sirens wailed like banshees through the subway vents, blue and red strobing the tunnels in epileptic frenzy. Lena, in my body, freckles smudged with grime, scrambled up first, offering a hand that I slapped away. Trust? Shattered like the bottle glass underfoot. But the kill switch dangled like bait, and Harlan's goons were closing in, their flashlights slicing the dark like scalpels. Lab. Now. I growled, her voice raw from the chase. We burst topside into a monsoon, Astoria's mom-and-pop shops shuddered against the deluge, puddles mirroring the chaos. Cabs splashed by, horns blaring New York Symphony. Lena hailed one, bold or desperate, and we piled in, dripping on vinyl seats. One pen fast. The driver, a grizzled cabbie with a Yankees cap, eyed us in the mirror. You two okay? Look like you swam the East River. Sisters, Lena quipped, my quip, flashing a grin that disarmed. Arguing over the remote. Again. He chuckled, oblivious, and gunned it through red lights. In the back, our knees touched, wrong, intimate, and silence thickened like fog off the sound. Why now? I muttered. The truth. After all this. She stared out at the blurring bridges. Guilt. Or fear. Pick your poison. A beat. The breach? I did sell the data. But you optimized the code. Knew the buyers. We split the take, 50-50. You just forgot, or willed it away, because facing it meant admitting you're no saint. The cab lurched. My stomach dropped harder than her words. Flashes. Late nights coding. Wire transfers to my secret Roth IRA. Rose toasts masking the rot. I'd framed myself. Carried her crime because it was ours. The swap wasn't just betrayal. It was my mirror, cracked and ugly. No. I whispered, but it rang hollow. American dream, right? Hustle hard. Cut corners. Climb the ladder on others' backs. I'd been Lena's echo all along. Apex loomed, a glass leviathan mocking us with its glow. Security was amped, drones buzzing like hornets, guards doubled at the gates. Lena's badge, my old one, got us to the garage. From there, service elevators, her palm print overriding locks. Up to 47, hearts pounding in syncopated dread. The lab was a tomb, pods dark, consoles flickering with alerts. Intruder protocols engaged, a synth voice intoned. Alarms hooped softly, red lights pulsing like a migraine. Kill switch, I demanded, barricading the door with a crash cart. Lena, me, tapped the master terminal, fingers flying over keys that knew my touch. Here, neural core. Input, sisterhood. The screen bloomed green, reversal sequence spinning. It'll hurt. Like birthing yourself backward. I strapped into her pod, the one that started this nightmare. IVs pricking veins that felt foreign. Lena mirrored in mine, our eyes locking through the glass. Hers mine, mine hers. If it fails, she said, we're fused forever. Then hell has a +1. The sync hummed to life, electricity crawling my spine like fire ants. Visions assaulted, her memories bleeding into mine. Penthouse trysts with Harlan, his hands possessive. My Astoria nights, scrolling indeed for better gigs, resenting her climb. The breach. Us, shoulder to shoulder, laughing as alerts pinged. For the girls, we'd clinked keyboards. Pain-crested, a wave-crashing identity. I screamed. Her scream, operatic, and blacked out to Harlan's voice on the intercom. Voss? Klein? Open up. We can talk this out. Talk. Like he hadn't greenlit the hits. The sequence peaked, pods shuddering, and release came in a gasp. I blinked, pod hissing open. Hands, my hands, freckled, calloused from keyboard marathons, flexed. Mirror confirmed. Esther Klein, back in her skin, messy bun and thrift blouse intact. Lena emerged opposite, in her own body, staggering like a newborn foal. It's done. But her eyes, now truly hers, held no triumph. Only resignation. Alarms escalated. Boots thumped in the hall. Harlan's play, raid the lab, pin the echo leak on rogue elements. Us. Run, I said, but she shook her head. Too late for me. Harlan's got contingencies, dead man switches on the data. If I bolt, it all floods WikiLeaks anyway. Clients, feds, everyone burns. And you? Controversy gnawed. Let her fry, or drag her into the fire. She smirked, that old predatory curl. Me? I confess, Full mea culpa. You walk, the hero whistleblower. I take the fall we both earned. Hero? The word tasted like bile. But as the door buckled, SWAT breaching with rams, choices narrowed. I grabbed a USB from the console, Echo's core ripped raw. Why? Because sisters stick. Even when it sticks wrong. She shoved me toward the vent grate, the one we joked about for fire drills. Go. Upload from Tommy's. End it. Tears stung. Mine real. I crawled into the ductwork, metal scraping elbows, as shouts erupted below. Gunfire popped, muffled, Lena's cry cut short. Then silence, heavy as a verdict. Out on the roof, rain lashed like judgment, helipad empty but for puddles. I hot-wired the service drone, Lena's trick, and rode it down to street level, vanishing into the night like smoke from a back-alley blunt. Tommy's safe house. He waited, ice packed to ribs, laptop primed. You look like hell. Feel like it. I slotted the USB, files cascading. Echo blueprints, Harlan's ledgers, oligarch wires. One click, and it seeded the net, Reddit, Twitter, every leak site from here to Hacker News. By dawn, the storm broke. CNBC looped, Apex Dynamics implosion. CEO Harlan Crow in custody. Feds swarmed one pen, drones grounded, bored fleeing like rats from a boutique cheese shop. Lena's body, hers now, zipped from the lab, resisting arrest. Official story, sole architect of the fraud, tragic genius undone by hubris. But the twist lingered, festering. Tommy poured bourbon, maker's mark, neat. You did it. Companies gutted, clearances revoked across the board. That level 5 you had, the one they ignored? It was the dam holding back the flood. I sipped, fire chasing ice. And her. DOJ's got a deal on the table. Reduced for cooperation. She's singing like a canary in Rikers. Not dead. Not quite. I visited once, through plexiglass, her orange jumpsuit clashing with those obsidian eyes. Worth it? I asked. She pressed the receiver to her ear, voice tinny. Debate that over wine someday. If they let me out. If. The word hung, debatable as original sin. Apex crumbled, jobs lost, pensions vaporized, a recession spark in the powder keg economy. Me? Hailed as the insider who cracked it, book deals and TED slots beckoning. But nights, in my reclaimed Astoria walk-up, ghosts whisper, was the revenge mine, or just the cycle spinning? I scroll her, my old texts, archived like regrets. For the sisterhood. Yeah, in America? We forgive the hustlers, Leoneize the survivors. But deep down, in the boardrooms and back alleys, we know, the clearance we ignore isn't code. It's conscience. And when it snaps, empires fall, not with a bang, but a glitch. Epilogue twist. Months later, a package arrives. Lena's scrawl. One last sync. Read if you dare. Inside, a drive, not Echo, but home movies. Us at NYU, drunk on dreams. The breach night, my voice on tape. Do it. We're in this together. Proof positive, I wasn't the victim. I was the architect, too. The swap? My idea, whispered in a blackout haze, to shield us both from Harlan's wrath. She took the blame to give me an out. Now who's the monster? Me, toasting alone to the sister I framed. Or her, rotting for a crime we co-wrote. You decide. Hell, debate it on X. America loves a good cancellation. Just don't forget, in the machine, we're all swapped, waiting for the reversal that never comes.